It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Cayman. Slow tech day today. That's what it should be called. All right. We are now on our way. Not to worry. We got it. We got it. How's everybody doing? Happy Hump Day Wednesday. We got a lot of ground to cover today. So guess what? We are going to just jump right into it. And we have a guest, first of all, joining us in the studio. Because guess what? I like a bit of good news. Who would not want to win $100,000? Have I piqued your interest this morning? Well, let me tell you, it's real. It's possible. You just got to buy a ticket. Simple as that. Let's find out more from Derek, who's going to tell us all about it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Derek. How you doing? Uh-oh, hold on. Slow tech day. There we go.
There we are.
Good
morning.
morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having us on. Yes, $100,000 up for grabs. Very exciting stuff.
Right. Well, this sounds amazing. Abby's talking about she's craving breadfruit. Well, I'm craving $100,000.
Yeah, so this is the fourth year the YMCA has been offering this grand prize of $100,000. It's an annual fundraiser for the YMCA, specifically for our youth sports programs. So we've got our youth baseball program, which originally started with a partnership with the Little League, which is over 35 years ago. We also run a youth football program. We've got girls softball. And so a lot of these funds go to support that. That season runs January through June, and it's only $100 for kids to register and play for that whole 6-month period. So we subsidize that program. And we do get a lot of amazing sponsors from the community as well who have participated in that program for a long time. So we also offer financial assistance. So if there's any kids who aren't able to pay that $100, we cover that cost. So last year we did close to $300,000 in financial assistance through youth sports and through our camp program, all due to our annual campaign and through this fundraising event. So tickets are $100. So if I know that's a lot in this economy right now too. So you could always grab 3 other friends and split it if you want to. But that grand prize, $100,000. This is the 4th year we're giving it away. So we've already had 3 other successful winners at that $100,000 mark. And it's such a good cause. It's great to see the kids out here. The youth baseball softball program is probably the most diverse program in Cayman. We've got representation from every single school. All the kids are mixed in teams. It's amazing. We love it, and we're so thankful to get the support that we do for it.
Yeah, no, this is really, really amazing. And I tell people it's not really about winning the $100,000, but that would be the icing on the cake. But it's about helping our young people, because you can't put a price tag on all the amazing programs and work that the YMCA does, including your summer camp, which is starting here shortly. So, folks, this is your opportunity to have your chance. Like he said, if you want to split it with some friends, no arguments, put it in writing.
That's right.
About how your winnings will be divided when you win. But this is absolutely an amazing opportunity to help out a really, really, really great nonprofit organization here in the Cayman Islands. So, I think this is fantastic. Anyone
can either click the QR code right there that's on the screen now, or visit our website, which is ymcacayman.ky. And when you purchase online, just to give a little insight behind the scenes, we receive the order on the back end, and then our team actually takes the physical ticket and writes your name on it, and then we peel them off. The stubs go in the draw. So that's how the process works from behind the scenes. And then if you want to, you can pop by our offices. We're down at the Dart Field of Dreams on Fairbanks Road, and you can pick up your physical ticket. It's not required. You don't have to be here to win. And the draw is taking place tomorrow night right here at the Championship Games. So very excited. We have the kids that are participating in the championship game actually do the draw, and it's amazing. They get excited. We love it. It's a really great tradition we've been doing.
God. I feel like that needs to be live on CMR.
We have the live link to share. If you want to get a part, we'd love to have you down, of course.
Yeah. No. This sounds fantastic. All right, so it's pretty easy, folks. Like Derek just said, it's an amazing opportunity to help out YMCA and all the programs that they offer. $100,000, but there are other prizes. Second prize is a $10,000 cash prize, and third prize is $5,000. Really super easy. You can scan that QR code. You don't have to go anywhere. Do your payment online. And YMCA uses the proceeds of this money to fund a lot of their programs, including youth sports programs, subsidy, and scholarships. Tell us a little bit about your scholarships. I was surprised when I heard that you have scholarships.
Well, so the term scholarship as it relates to the youth sports program is in the sense where if a child can't or the family can't afford to participate in any of our programs, then they can apply for financial assistance, and we'll give them a scholarship to play in the sports. We'll cover the cost of that. So we do, on our website, there's a big link that says financial assistance. They click on that. They fill in very non-abrasive details. Our team reviews them, and we support all the families that need any help for this. So our goal as a non-for-profit here with all of our programs is that we never want to turn away a child or family due to financial restraints. So that's something we take very seriously. We're very proud. In the last 6 years that I've been with the company, we've always been able to accommodate, and that's through this raffle, through our annual caring campaign where we receive donations from individuals and the community to support this. And it's just, it's amazing that we can provide so much help to the community.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I don't know if you knew this, Derek, but this is our 9th anniversary coming up on the 30th. CMR.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And in the spirit of celebrations and, all good things, we're actually going to give away a ticket this morning.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That sounds great.
Why not? So, so I want you to think of a good question about YMCA.
Sure.
That we can throw out there to our audience, because we always want to make sure they're paying attention, that they're engaged in the community, that they know what's going on in this beautiful island that we live on. So, we're always doing quizzes and testing their ability to get it right. So, folks, let me make sure the phone line is on. we're gonna be giving away one of these tickets here this morning. Basically, CMR could, if you won, be responsible for you winning $100,000, $10,000, or $5,000. Wouldn't that be amazing if our ticket won?
I would love that. That's amazing.
I know. What a way to celebrate our anniversary. All right, you got a question ready? I know I kind of put you on the spot here.
No, sure, yeah.
You got a question ready for us?
We'll make it a nice and easy. It's a pretty easy one if you know, but all right, here we go. What year was the YMCA established in the Cayman Islands?
All right.
What year was the YMCA established?
You got to call in 936-2626. What year? And that was the same question I was thinking of too, especially since we're celebrating your anniversary. It's the anniversary question. 936-2626. We got caller number 1 up already.
Established in the Cayman Islands.
Good morning, caller. What's the answer?
Good morning.
Yes, you got to be ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
June 12, 2004.
Is that
right?
It
is not 2004. I'm sorry. It is
not the right answer. Oh my gosh. No. After all that, she had somebody looking it up. That's okay, but you got to be ready. 936-2626. All right, let's try it again. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning. Is it 2012?
2012?
That is correct. It was. We were established in 2012. You got a ticket.
Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations. Wow. What would you do with $100,000? I'm just curious.
Oh my gosh, I would invest it.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Yeah. I love that. All right. Let me just get a first name from you.
Alrighty. So it's Kelly.
Kelly?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So we got Kelly's number. Derek will work out how to
absolutely
her phone number, her name. We'll work out how to get that ticket in her name.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for that. Congratulations, Kelly.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. Pay attention to what's happening in your community, because you never know. You never know where we're going to quiz you.
That's right.
So this is great. Thank you so much. We will get her all sorted out. Anything else we need to know about upcoming programs that you've got going on? This is a great opportunity to just let people know.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned it earlier, but our summer camps have launched for registration. We take pride in that. We've got 9 weeks this year of summer camps, so lots to choose from. We do art camp, we do drama camp, adventure camp, all the sports camps. Baseball, softball, football, all of that. Chef camp, art camp. It's great. And listen, one of the biggest challenges we are well aware, of course, is indoor space. And, the YMCA is working very hard behind the scenes at a future facility right here at the Field of Dreams. We've got a 19-acre property, and we are behind the scenes working on a future, community hub that would be such an amazing thing for the Cayman Islands. But until then, we will continue to operate our programs to the best of our ability. And camp, I'm happy to say we have partnered with Triple C. So we've got a great indoor space there. They have an amazing facility just around the corner. So our main camps will operate out of Triple C. So lots of indoor space. The kids can stay out of the sun a bit more, which is nice. And so that's available for registration now. We have not changed our prices in the last 4 years. So we continue, well, all the prices around us keep going up. We've maintained, thanks to the donations we receive, $285 is the starting price for a full week. And if that doesn't work for you, again, financial assistance, click on our website, click on financial assistance, fill out this simple form. We're not looking for your pay slips. It's it's much easier than that. Send us those details, and we want to get your kids involved in camp. We want them to have a safe, organized, structured place to play all summer and make some good friends.
And can I tell you that your camps are a real hit with my daughter, because she attended earlier in the year and she loved it. She was telling all her friends at school about the YMCA camp. All of a sudden, she wanted to go to the Field of Dreams when her cousin was visiting.
I love it.
I need to show him the Field of Dreams.
Yes.
So she had an amazing time. So I think that's a testament to how fun these camps are. And, if you can't do all the weeks, you're traveling or whatever, just pick a week. So she's got a friend who wants to do one particular week, and they're going to register together for that week. So I love it. It's
great.
a lot of fun. Yeah. So
Thank
9
you.
weeks. Yep.
Yeah, 9 weeks. Yep. And we've got a few, kind of satellite locations for some of the specialty camps, like chef camp. So we have access to some kitchen stuff, and art camp. But yeah, we also take a lot of pride in our staff. They're fully trained, CPR, AED, first aid trained, darkness to light trained, and they go through a full YMCA training before they get there. So we do take pride in having great staff to take care of your kids here at the YMCA camp.
Fantastic. All right.
And
wonderful.
You can hit our website to register again, just ymca.cayman.ky. All the details are there. Registration, financial assistance, all the details. Get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you and be a part of your summer fun.
Yeah. All right. And one more thing. Let's, hold on one second. We're going to do congrats to your pony champs. I just saw that they were posted here on your social page. So tell us a little bit about these guys. Look at them.
Yeah. Good. So these are our 7 and 8 year olds, called the pony division. It's a coach pitch. So the coaches pitch to their own team. And this is the first year after T-ball. So they get pretty, they're starting to learn the art of competition. They had an absolute blast. This is Anchor Rock in the teal color. They were the winners. They defeated PWC in the championship game. Came down to the last inning. It was great action. That was on Saturday. So congratulations to both those teams. They played amazing, and it was a lot of fun to watch these guys out there. And the growth that these kids experience. So I have one of my sons plays in the pony division as well, and it's his first year in pony. So the start of the year, these kids can't hit balls or throw the base very well. By the end, they're just playing amazing. So we're really proud of all the progression they've made. So yes, congrats to our pony champs. And the final games tomorrow night, along with our raffle draw. So you can come down and see some of the older kids, and we'll be highlighting the AA division, which is our 11 and 12 year olds. And it's great. It's really great quality baseball.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Derek. Really appreciate all of the amazing stuff that YMCA does in the community. Again, folks, this is just a last minute pitch to, no pun intended, to go ahead and grab yourself an opportunity or just make a donation to the YMCA annual raffle, $100,000. Last chance, folks. This is it, because the drawing is going to be tomorrow. This is fantastic. Well, Derek, we really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you, Miss Sandra. We appreciate it. And congratulations on 9 years once again.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. All right, good folks. Oh, sorry. Pulled you out a little bit quick there. All of a sudden, I'm quick on the fire now. Quick on the trigger. It was slow starting out. Now we're too quick. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a lot to cover today. Johan is in the comment section asking who's going to get blazed up. Well, we got a little bit of blazing up to do today, and I make zero apologies for it. This person says my stepdaughter loves YMCA. Miss Diamond and Miss Amethyst are the best. Is that their real name? Miss Diamond and Miss Amethyst? Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Let me just see here. I need to send a quick note. Okay. So listen, let me send out the links first because we gotta talk. You and me, we gotta talk about something really, really important this morning. I'm so disappointed in the Port Authority. Lord God, what is wrong with them? Ugh, every time I think maybe they're getting it together, then they go pull a move like this, and I sit here going, tisk, tisk, shameful. They ain't not got no shame. I'm beginning to wonder. My apologies. Somebody just pointed out that the wrong date is on today's flyer. Y'all will be fine, I think, right? It says June 12th. Y'all know it's not June the 12th. It is, I don't even know what date it is. I think it's the 17th because I think tomorrow I got a homework assignment due on the 18th. So I better be paying attention to the dates. Anywho, yeah, okay. We're gonna have to talk about this, but give me one quick second. There is a story that there's a voice note I need to listen to really, really quickly because I do believe that this might be a little something for an existing story that we have up. All right, so give me one quick second. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and then we are going to get into the Port Authority. And remember, I think it was last week that I promised you guys that we would get to the bottom of this whitefly situation. Well, I'm very, very pleased that the Department of Agriculture, oh Lord, I always get them mixed up. Department of Agriculture is on top of things, and we did go out recently, and recently as in yesterday, and spend some time with them. And so I have the details for you this morning. You guys are going to be shocked about what's going on, what that whitefly has been all about. I certainly learned a lot because remember, I didn't know anything about it until one of you tipped me off and said, Sandy, we got a whitefly infestation. I thought, oh my God, what the heck? Stay tuned for that interview a bit later on today as well. All right, let's take a quick commercial break. Right back after these messages.
If you're a parent right now, you already know the cost of living has gone up. Rent, childcare, groceries. When the cost of living rises, government must rise to meet it. And we have. Under the revised ECAP policy, our Early Childhood Assistance Program, we've increased funding to keep pace with what families are actually paying today for their children's early education. Who benefits? A father working every hour he can. A single mother doing it alone. A grandparent raising grandchildren they love. Maybe that's you. Up to 235 Caymanian children will benefit directly. And I want every single one of them to have the start they deserve. That is why we're here. If you've applied before and been disappointed, I encourage you to try again. If you've never applied because you assumed you wouldn't qualify, now is the time to find out. And if the funding didn't feel like enough before, it should now. Is your child 3 years old and Caymanian? You may qualify. Visit us at moeapplications.gov.ky and apply for the 2026-2027 academic year.
Want to join the conversation on The Cold Hard Truth? Call us live at 345-936-2626. Before calling, please remember, no profanity, no personal attacks. Stay on topic. Respect differing opinions. Keep your comments brief so others can participate. CMR reserves the right to disconnect calls that violate our community standards. Now let's get back to the conversation.
All right, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning again. All right, we're going to get into talking about the Port Authority. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you have seen us questioning a particular situation where basically a former board member has been hired to work at the port. This is a problem. And I'm shocked that, I know the government is not supposed to get involved in boards as such. They have to take a hands-off approach. But I cannot imagine a world where this type of decision would be made, and anybody who's sensible on that board would actually think that this is the right decision. Now, let's be quite frank and honest about the situation here, because we have for quite some time been highlighting and discussing and talking about the Port Authority. You guys remember over, oh my gosh, from when Minister Kenneth Bryan was in there and Port fell under his responsibility. You know, we've been talking about the hot mess that is the Port Authority. Well, I'm disappointed, very, very disappointed to tell you that it remains very much a hot mess. What they have done is they've become better at hiding, okay? So, you know, we used to get snippets and information and knew exactly what was going on. And that's how we were able to bring you so much of it. They've gotten better at threatening people, at hiding information. Oh, you don't leak this. Poor Mr. Paul Hurlston. He went in there on a contract, couple years. You know, he said he would give them back. And the sad part is the primary mandate for him, this is what my sources tell me, is don't let CMR know what is going on. That was it. And I thought to myself, if that's what you have to worry about, if that's what your main concern is, then you got something to hide. Because nobody in their right thinking mind, right, has to worry about CMR if they're on the right side of things. If you're on the right side of the line, you don't care what we're doing because we're not going to be focused on you. It is only, yes, when you're up to no good, you're sneaking around, you're not treating your workers well. You know, you've got lawsuits from the workers. You've got all this hot mess of a situation. It's only when that happens that you really, really, really are like, oh, don't tell CMR. We got to hide this from CMR. Yeah, boy. And so I have discovered, unfortunately, to my dismay, that the Port Authority continues to be a hot mess and then some. I think Mr. Paul, bless his little heart, he went back there after being terminated by a previous government. And, you know, there was so much drama going on. I figured they just thought he's a safe bet. He's safe. Put him in there. Everybody likes Mr. Paul. Not going to be too many questions. You know, he'll help to settle things in. But settle things down. My apologies. But behind the scenes, we still have very much what can I say? We still have very much a lot of just chaos happening. And this is unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate for the port workers. It's unfortunate for the people of the Cayman Islands. The port is one of those areas where, for security reasons, amongst other things, we have to, you know, really, really try to keep it ran as a professional organization. All right. And we know that the governor's office, thanks to our previous reporting, was looking very, very closely at what was happening at the port. So what am I talking about this morning? Some of you still have not been paying attention. Aliano says he's in the back of the class. That means, you know, he's got his feet kicked up. And he may or may not be paying attention, but I want you all to pay attention here this morning. This is what I'm talking about. Jacqueline Scott Rankin, former port director, has now been appointed as Deputy Director of Administration at the Port Authority. What? You know why this is interesting? Let me do a bit of a caveat before we dig a little bit deeper into this situation. Number one, I got a phone call yesterday and someone said, Sandy, you know, what is it that you're saying? Are you saying that no one who ever sat on a board could ever work for that organization? And I thought about it for a minute and I said, no, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I mean, there could be, I suppose, a right set of circumstances where that might be okay. You know, there's certain things you tend to stay away from because it doesn't really pass the sniff test. And this particular one does not pass the sniff test. So this is where now I would have never touched this with a 10-foot pole, if you know what I mean. She was one of the persons who during our, and I was here looking at my previous notes, and trust me, OMG, I had so many notes on the port because that place was just a hot mess and then some. Go back and search on YouTube for the previous shows because trust me, it's archived there. You'll be able to watch it. And so here we are now with, lots of questions about exactly how this is going to work. What's wrong with her being now employed by an organization which she was previously basically managing? Well, there's a lot of reasons why this particular appointment is problematic. Let's dig into it. We briefly mentioned it last week, and I think it's worth stressing some of these points. Number one, okay, we're going to talk about the job advertising here in a second, but she was part of the board that actually approved the position. Dun, dun, dun. Do I even need to go any further? How does this happen? How can you be part of a board that approved a position that then you, as part of at least the first, the first recruitment, would have been a part of, and you couldn't find anybody for the job, and then you turn around and have yourself hired into the position? There's something wrong with this board. I can't quite put my finger on it, but what I'm going to tell you is this board, I know Mr. Klein, I think he's on vacation. I saw his social media post saying that he was somewhere on holiday, so he might not be around, but I can tell you what, there's something that is not being run operationally correct with this board. They don't think about the optics of anything that they do. Okay? They don't, it isn't past the sniff test. So let's try to break this down a little bit for you. This position was first advertised, let me just get the date here, back in October of 2024. First question, was Jacqueline Scott Rankin on the board back in October of 2024? Any takers? Anybody in class wants to answer this question? Raise your hand. By a show of hands, say yes if your hand is up. How many of you think that she would have been a board member in October of 2024? Where's my little... All right. All righty. So tell me now. What is it? Yes? You guys are asleep. I don't see anybody saying yes in the comment section. The teacher doesn't like students who are not paying attention. The answer is yes, of course she was. Now, what does that mean? That means that she sat there on a board that reviewed this position, looked at this position, decided on this position, the whole works, the whole 9 yards, yes? Approved the job description, everything for this position. The optics, what we say, phew-wee. When kids are in class and they're like, oh, auntie, that really stinks. That stinks to high heavens, I tell you. This is not good. Good morning, caller. Uh-oh, hello? Oh, why can't I hear you? Uh-oh, they hung up. 936-2626. How many of you think that sounds about what it should be? All right. So you sit there and draft a position. You were on the board for years. Yeah? Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Sandra.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Are you live?
Of course we are.
Oh, you guys are live. Can I call you on and I'll make it practical?
Is it about the topic that we're on right now?
No.
Okay, then the short answer is you can't call me right now because I'm in the middle of a show.
Oh, okay, what time? can I call you?
After, I guess after the show, you can try.
All right, I will.
Okay. Mm-mm. All right. Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's pay attention to class today. So, any thoughts on this? Does this sound about right? Someone who has sat on the board for years, helped to write the description, who was, as you guys recall, one of the criticisms that we had with her in particular as a board member is she was always overreaching. There's a clear delineation between what a board of directors do or does and what the staff actually do or does, right? And in her case, oh, she was overreaching a lot. People always thought, well, she must work for the port. Like she must be on the port's payroll, not a director, not appointed by her cousin Chris Saunders, but no, she must be on the port, working, collecting a monthly salary. Oh, we had all sorts of questions about these subcommittees that she was on, right? Running things operationally, promoting and helping her friend, Mr. Donovan, get promoted into the position that he would get promoted into. Now, all of a sudden, she gets hired? What? How is this even possible? Wow. All right. So that was the first time that it was advertised. Apparently, this is such a difficult position to fill. Listen to this very, very carefully. That after they advertised it initially in October 2024, they turned around and they advertised it again in January of 2025. Okay. Question. Was she on the board in January of 2025? Let me pull up these job descriptions here for you guys, because this must be the most difficult job in the Cayman Islands to fill. So much so that apparently the only person that could fill the job is a former director of the board. Let's see now. Give me 1 second here, honey child. All right, original job description. There you go. Yes. Deputy Port Director of Admin, making between $93,000 and $122,000 per annum. Right? And it has all the details there of what it is that they're looking for. They advertised it in October of 2024. Then they turn around and they advertise it again in January of 2025. She's still on the board. Okay? They do a second round of advertisements. Now, I want to know how many people are applying, right? Why is it, 1 second here. How many people are applying? And why is it that she now has this position after multiple rounds of recruitment? I want to know how her application stacked up to the other applicants. And why 3 rounds? I mean, I know the port has been a shit show for quite a while, but yeah, nobody wants to work there for that salary. I'm willing that there's some professionals that be willing to take on the task. That's all I'm saying. Not done yet. It was re-advertised again in November of 2025. Now it's going to get interesting, right? Because she was finally removed in August of 2025 from the board. Right. Yes, her good cousin there, Chris, did not get back into the government. He didn't have as much pull. So finally she gets out. Let me just see here now. Yes, this is the right ad I have up. And it was re-advertised again in November of 2025. Presumably, that is when she would have applied for the position. Someone had this point to make. It'd be interesting to know who applied and what their qualifications each of these occasions, and no one was selected on the first 2 occasions, but that is something we will never know. Well, I think in all fairness, if the port did this recruitment on the up and up, they should really, release these documents. We don't need to see names, but let us see what the qualifications were of the individuals who applied along with this successful candidate. How did she score in her interview? All these people have been on the board. Let's take a look at the port board here as well. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the Port Authority board and tell you exactly who the directors are. All right, so we have, and I think this is the latest. Let me see here now. I'm trying to find, right. Klein Glidden, he's been there, I think, for a hot minute now. Barry Bodden as deputy chair. Irma Arch, Kristen Forbes, Giovanni Bolin, Dale Christian. Oh, Dale's on this board? What a hot mess. Carlin Powery, and Eric Bush represents the ministry. Right? The CBC director or nominee and the financial secretary or nominee serve as ex officio members. Some of these individuals sat on the board with Miss Jackie, and you would have thought that something would have kind of ticked in their heads that said, maybe this is not a good idea, right? Why else is it not a good idea other than the fact that she actually, oops, my apologies, let me adjust my little, gotta adjust my camera here. What's going on? It's all crooked. Other than the fact that she sat on the, my apologies. We need to fix this camera here this morning. Other than the fact that she actually sat on the board with them, why would it also not be a good idea? Let's focus on the relationships here. Okay. I know that is, I feel like that's all kind of crooked. Forgive me for a crooked camera this morning. But let's focus on the relationship that she had with a particular member of staff and others. So I don't want to hyper focus on Donovan. There's been a lot of questions about the nature of her relationship with him being unprofessional, a little too close, allegations of it being of an extremely personal nature, right? So that's not good. But let's set that aside for a second. As someone who actually sat on the board for a number of years, and I'll have to double check how long she was there for, how many years it turned out to be in the end, but you could certainly see how this would be problematic from the perspective of here's a woman who, again, was for all intents and purposes working with and supervising other people who were staff there, right? Some of them may have liked her, some didn't like her, some, feared her. There was total chaos. She was getting involved in the appointment of Donovan and others. It just was a chaotic situation. Now you take that person who was a director at the board level and you put them in as head of an entire division, right? And you think what's going to happen with those professional relationships. Even the existing relationship that she has with board members, this whole thing is completely tainted. Like, I don't see how to them this really made any sense whatsoever. So one of the things that she did, let's keep in mind that her friend Donovan is now the deputy director of finance. Oh, he's the one who's writing the paychecks, responsible for the money. And him and Jackie are thick as thieves, intertwined, intermingled. right? Sharing tea and then some. What would be the terminology that Caymanians would use to describe the nature of this relationship? Clicking and clacking all over the place. So under her guidance and the rest of the board, they decided to come up with 5 deputy director positions. 5. I would challenge you to find any other organization in Cayman that has 5 deputy directors. I'm talking about government now. Look at WRC, formerly immigration. Look at CBC. Who on earth needs 5 deputy directors? So, at some point, someone took over the organization and they said, I don't think we need 5. That's a waste of money. Keep in mind the salary range, I'm going to show it to you again, that these deputy positions are paying. Over $100,000, between $93,000 and over $122,000. Okay? Multiply that times 5, and you would see exactly why they were going broke and in financial problems, why Mr. Paul Hurlston was fired the first time around. All right. They get a new CEO, and he says, hold on a second, we don't need 5. We can get away with 2. Deputy Director of Finance, Deputy Director of Operations, and a Deputy for Administration. And that should be able to oversee all of the support functions of the port. Well, this same Jackie fought tooth and nail to ensure that inefficiency. She was one of the people who supported the 5 positions, the 5 deputy positions. And she made sure that that didn't happen for a long time. Oh no, we're not going to pare it down to 3. So what they then did, pay attention to the facts, is they gave the functions of the deputy of administration, deputy director of administration, to Donovan, their bosom buddies, butt cheek, Batty and Bench. Y'all understand? Yeah? She then, the board, along with her, decides to give that responsibility of deputy director of administration to the deputy director of finance, Donovan. What's Donovan's last name again? If you will recall, when we did the expose on the port, right? We talked about how a lot of people, including Donovan, were acting in position. So acting as deputy director of administration. So what that meant is they would get their regular salary. Let me get Donovan's last name. They were working in their, getting their regular salary. And then they would, on top of that, be getting an acting allowance as well. And this was one of the inefficiencies that we discussed of how money was being wasted because for whatever reason, they wouldn't decide on a proper organizational structure for the port, what positions they actually needed, and then simply fill those positions. So they had some people who were acting like in all 3, 4 positions, and it just didn't make any sense that that person could actually be doing all of that work. So eventually they separated the position, the functions again. And again, this would have been while she was there because she fought tooth and nail to keep them separate. And that's when the advertisement for the post, as we saw here, started then in November of 2024 and then in January of 2025. So you had people apply. Again, how many people applied? Well, apparently nobody is good for the port except for her in this position, and they denied all of those applicants 3 different rounds. The position, again, advertised in November 2025, 3 months after she was removed from the board, and as they say, the rest is history. Now, let's look at who Jackie is and what qualifications she actually brings to the table. Because the first time we put this up, And, a lot of people are like, well, Sandy, you just don't like her and this and that. I'm like her? I don't even know Jacqueline Scott to that. I mean, whatever. I know she's Chris's cousin. And hold on one second. Jacqueline. I know that only because he gave her the position. And so I know she's supposed to be married to somebody who's a Rankin. I don't even know which Rankin that's supposed to be. She used to work at Butterfield Bank at some point. So let's look at her CV here. And where else did she work? All right. She was board. She served from 2019, my apologies, to at least 2025 on the board. She was reappointed to lead the Port Authority's Audit and Risk Committee, managing internal governance, night shifts, and risk frameworks. Right? Even to AI then says she transitioned to senior management from a director on the board to deputy director of administration. Huh. Wow. Unbelievable. What is her expertise then in the areas that fall under this position? HR, safety, fleet management and maintenance, parts inventory, janitorial, IMO requirements and regulations, departmental policies and procedures. Whatever expertise she thinks she has, I'm assuming that her argument is she received all of this information when she was actually on the board. There's this concept in law about the very look of impropriety being something that you should stay away from. Something is completely legal, but it doesn't look good. It stinks of, you got a perception issue here, conflict of interest, transparency, organizational integrity now being called into question, governance. All of this is a problem. And I think that unfortunately, because there's no legislation against it, so I don't want y'all to think here that Ms. Jackie is somehow breaking the law, because that's certainly not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that this is a loophole that the government should seek to close, and close it as quickly as possible. Yes? Because the truth of the matter is, she should not, sorry, I'm still adjusting this camera here. She should not have been able to sit on a board, be that close to the recruitment of a position, apply for the position, and actually get the position. At the very minimum, there has to be a separation period of, I would say, at least a couple years. I'm not saying to put a blanket, ban on this. Y'all gonna argue, oh, Cayman is so small, there's not that many Caymanians, blah, 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 blah. So maybe a blanket ban doesn't make any sense. But I would say a couple years. There should be nobody on the board that she sat with that is still there. At least make those people get rolled over. So, these are not your friends. These are not people that you sat with multiple times a week, having crumpets and tea and snacking on cookies and sandwiches at the expense of government, or some of them board members be getting even more. They get a whole plate of food catered from some really nice places for lunch. Oh, today we're going to order Chinese food. Come on. This does not pass the smell test at all. There's a perception of all sorts of conflicts of interest here. Was the hiring process technically compliant? I have a question about that because of the fact that she would have been there during 2 out of the 3 rounds of recruitment. That's a big problem. That's like a red flag. We need some of those red flags that Cindy had a couple elections ago, right? Because right now I'd be sitting here waving my red flag. Red flag, what's going on here? Public bodies have an obligation to avoid not only actual conflicts of interest, but also the appearance of conflicts of interest. And this has not been done with this appointment. The public, that's me and you, have to have confidence that positions are filled through a fair and independent process. How many of you believe in your heart of hearts this morning that this position, after 3 rounds and now being filled by Jacqueline Scott Rankin, has been fair and independent? I cannot raise my hand with any degree of confidence here today. I would be lying if I told you that I could believe such a thing. Any former board member who then ends up as a senior management role, reasonable individuals, and yep, that's me and you, are going to ask the question whether they had any advantage over the other applicants because of their previous position and their ongoing relationships with existing board members. You guys understand how this works. Yeah? You sit on boards with people, you develop a camaraderie with them. I'm not saying you're bosom buddies and you're friends, but they're gossiping amongst each other same way, right? Having after hours glasses of wine and tea and whatever. You're sitting there for hours, over years with these individuals. Of course, you're going to have this relationship. And some of those board members are still sitting there. What about her relationship, as I said previously, with the staff? So it's no wonder that all of these people were coming forward to me saying, "Oh, Sandy, this don't look good." The staff are worried. They're concerned. They don't even want her there. The right-thinking ones. Yeah? Previous involvement in the position. So, based on all the evidence that we have, the board approved, discussed, funded, restructured, as I just gave you the facts about, there was a recommendation to do away with certain positions. They decided to amalgamate that position for a time and give it to Donovan. So all of that happened, influenced the position while she was serving. Those are big question marks. That should never happen. She should not be eligible to apply for that position. Was she involved in the discussions around the job description? Naturally so. She was a board member. Was she involved in the discussions surrounding the salary ranges or organizational structure? Yes, she was. Did she have access to information unavailable to ordinary applicants? What do you think? Obviously she did. Right? Y2K Tweezy says they well waller up. You understand? This is very much no bueno. So there's also another concept that one has to be familiar with. It's called the revolving door problem. So good governance generally discourages a revolving door between oversight roles and management roles. Board members, their role is to oversee management. Management's role is to answer to the board. When you move directly from one position into the next, you blur the accountability lines. But you see, this particular board, for whatever reason, refuses to see the blurring of the lines. And I'm not speaking to any individual board members. I'm just saying historically, we have demonstrated this. This continues to happen with the Port Authority Board. And that is why when she was on the board, there was so much interference, so much of this accountability blurring from her in particular. She was one of the ones who acted like she was already the Deputy Director of Administration. Let's think about this for a second. Do you guys remember a couple years back when we actually, morning, Mr. Henry, when we actually talked about off-reg? Now they have settled down, praise the Lord, because there was a minute there when I'm gonna just bring this up, where off-reg was a hot mess thanks to their board. And the board was, this is back in 2020, board removal happened. Public Accounts Committee was saying that needs to happen. What's going on there is ridiculous, because we were reporting on stuff like fights, physical fights, fighting at the board level. Why? Because it was widely reported that one of the people, and this was an exclusive CMR article that we had back in 2018. Imagine, oh my gosh, where has the time gone? 9 years, the end of this month. Back in September, my apologies. No, September of 2018, yes. We were reporting threats of violence, fighting, all sorts of chaos over there. Why? Because board members wanted to go from being on the board to then being the CEO of the organization. Yes, we talked about board bureaucracy gone wrong. Yeah, go back and read that article, because I can tell you what, that article and all the elements of it, and it was not for nothing, but especially since, CMR, those were early days yet, I can tell you that this was a very well-researched article, honey child. We did some serious digging back in the day. They were all up in the mix. That same type of situation where a board member has in their greedy little eyes the position of CEO of the organization, right? They were willing to fight over it. They came to blows, threatening each other. I'm going to knock you down. I'm going to whatever. How is that possible? Because the lines are too blurred. And we still haven't fixed it. Imagine, Mr. Henry, this was happening back in 2018. That's now coming up on what, 8 years ago. And the government still hasn't fixed it. Subsequent governments haven't fixed it. It needs to be fixed. No sitting board member should think in a million years that they would ever, right? That they would ever be vying for a position that they help to create, that they help to fund, that they're supervising currently, and all of this stuff. It's completely illogical. It doesn't pass the sniff test. It's problematic for more reasons than one. Let's talk about some of the chain of command issues. I think we've covered independent management quite a bit, right? Former board member, some of her colleagues She has long-standing relationships with those board members still. And it might not be intentional. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's give them all the benefit of the doubt, despite the fact that we probably know better. But let's give them all the benefit of the doubt and say that this is not going to be any intentional commingling, right? Human beings being who they are and what they are. There is a definite uneven dynamic that has now been created within the executive team. The CEO, Mr. Paul Hurlston, would have answered to her as a member of the board. Now she's going to be answering to him? How do you think that can work? Poor Mr. Paul, my apologies. He's probably sitting there right now thinking to himself, so she's no longer my boss? Like he's trying to, his brain is trying to now separate this relationship. So she's no longer my boss? Okay. So when she comes to me with a suggestion and a recommendation, do I take her suggestion and recommendation with any greater weight than any of my other deputies? How does she go from telling me what to do, to now taking instructions from me? Y'all see the problem, right? Even other managers. Let's set Mr. Donovan aside for a second because that's a peculiar and unusual relationship. Too personal. Allegations of impropriety from long time. But let's set that aside for 1 second. Who else in the organization is she going to have a direct influence over, because she also continues to have a direct influence with the board? The other people do not. Let me make it very clear. The deputy director position reports through management. It is beyond unusual for someone who recently exercised authority over senior executives to suddenly become subordinate to those same individuals. This is going to create all sorts of confusion about reporting relationships and authority. In the real world, this is a problem. And we all live in the real world, right? Now, we have a lot of questions about the transparency around the recruitment process. The position was advertised at least 3 times. How many applicants applied in each one of those? Why were previous recruitment exercises unsuccessful? What qualifications distinguish this successful candidate than anybody else? Because on the face of it, she is not qualified based on the experience that they're looking for. So that's a problem. So we need to see, and it's unfortunate that it's a recruitment process because FOI limits us in certain regards, right? Now, we're going to put it out there. We're going to ask for the information, but I'm pretty sure the port is going to find a reason. Oh, that's against this rule number 156,001. Why we can't, personal data. But I want to know how she stacked up, not just in the scoring, not just in this round, but all 3 rounds. Because we know that this organization has been plagued with issues. I'm going to leave you guys with a thought here this morning. Transparency helps to build public confidence. And for an organization that has had a lot of issues, I have my doubts. Right? Let's talk about merit-based recruitment. There's also a thought here about not whether or not she is qualified, but really whether the process was demonstrably fair and competitive. Public authorities must show that the best candidate was selected through an open process. Yeah. Lots of question. Now, there is speculation that Mr. Paul Hurlston's position is coming up in the not too near future for it's going to basically be ending. He told them he'd give them a couple years. We're coming up on that now, hoping to settle things down, at least in the public view. And so there's lots of speculation about whether this appointment is really for future promotion, either for herself or her BFF, batting bench friend, Donovan. I can tell you that Donovan is vying for the position of port director. Yes. I told you guys that from years ago. That's where he's got his eyes. Now, maybe he could see why there's going to be some kickback for a non-Caymanian even getting that position. And the next best thing for him is to put in his little girlfriend over here, Ms. Jacqueline Rankin, support her for the position. I'm telling you guys, the port continues to have a reputational and perception issue. Succession planning. Where does she go from here? Board member? Senior board member in charge of certain things? Oversight? Down now to deputy director of admin? Then up to port director? You guys can see how easy that jump now has been facilitated based on this particular move. She's got her foot in the door. Who else is going to be able to go in there and put together a very good case on paper about how, oh, well, she served, she knows on the one side what the board wants, and now she's going to know from, being in the organization. They're giving her on a silver platter the experience that she's going to then need to move into that position, along with the support of the board as well. So I hope that we've made clear here today what boards are responsible for: strategy, governance, policy, oversight. Management, on the other hand, like I said, this board is famous for crossing the lines. Jacqueline Scott Rankin is famous for crossing the lines on this board for the 6 years that she was there. They're responsible for the day-to-day operations, staffing, administration. You need to understand where the line between governance and operations is actually drawn. All right. Good morning. Anthony, you laughing at my cup this morning? Try and behave. Anthony says, in my opinion, the port operations need to return under central government due to the continued poor management and waste of public funds. I suggest a change of name as well, Department of Marine and Port Services. Good morning, Miss Amelia. 936-2626. The phone lines are open. Yes, Donovan Hutchinson. Thank you so much. I now remember the name. There's a lot of other stuff that is happening here at the port. Awarding of a scholarship. This is the board. Someone says, I thought their remit was approving policies and not involved in operational HR managers other than selecting the port director. So they're now doing a maritime scholarship policy and consideration and approval of this policy. All of this can be found in their own board minutes dated March the 3rd. We have section, let me just see a second here, 27.1 and 31.2. 27.1 of the law. So, you know, they continue to do things that, quite frankly, don't align with what is in the public authorities law. It's quite unbelievable that this Port Authority Board continues to operate in this manner. I think we were missing some members earlier, so let me, I see here from attendance records who was actually in attendance. Let's just have a look here at this one. Give me 1 second, please. So yeah, we got concerns, we got issues. Oops. Let me just see here now. All right. Any thoughts on this one? I'm gonna get to some of your comments. Just give me 1 quick second here. All righty. Oh, yes. So these are some of the board members. Here we go. Klein Glidden, chairperson. Barry Bodden, deputy chair. Irma Arch, member. Dale Crichton, member. Carly Boland, member. Kristen Forbes, member. Carlin Powery, member. And then we have ex officio members. Michael Nixon, Ministry of Finance. Bruce Smith, CBC. And then Miss Catherine Smith, for Mr. Eric Bush, gave her apologies. So there was no representative at this particular meeting, but this still gives you an idea of who's who on the board and what their roles are. Ministry of Planning, Land. So this authority now falls under Minister J.E. Banks. All right. Let me see here now, honey child. Someone is reminding us of their sordid history, including their finances. And of course, all of this would have been done and continued to be an issue while Ms. Jacqueline Scott was there, right? It's not like she was running and they were running a clean ship that she didn't take credit for the board doing such an amazing job. Someone says, look at this. Unqualified audit. So they got this picture below, acting port director. There's Mr. Donovan Hutchinson right there receiving certificates from the Consular White. Yeah, that place has been a hot mess. So there's Mr. Donovan. All right, give me 1 second. All right. Oh, yes. Oh, thanks. Show me who Donovan was. Yeah. All right. Good morning. Let's get to this next comment here. 1 second. Some of your comments are now coming in. Thank you so much. Some very scant questions here today. Yes. Let me just see here now. All right, so this person is wondering, they say Good morning. She was a board member on Kenneth Bryan and old government. Wasn't she on the board from 2021 to 2025 after the election? Yeah, so she came off in 2025, yeah. So they couldn't hire Beth McField for this job. Is she working for government now? Adverts tailored for this woman. Lord help us. So now who hired her? Is it Ruddy or whom? So no, Ruddy, this isn't his ministry, but to be very, very clear, the ministers are not supposed to get involved in these HR managers. Now, certainly they can ask questions, and I sure hope that the minister is thinking to himself today that he's got some really important questions that he needs to ask of the current director. What's his official title? Hold on one second. Chairman, Mr. Klein Glidden. The mere fact that she was there when this position was created and funded and advertised multiple times should make her ineligible for this post. Yeah, you can't even get past that hurdle in my mind. There is a necessity for a cooling off period with these positions. If you're going to be jumping from the board to actually being employed by the organization. Okay? Let's have a look here. This person goes on to say, so Miss Beth, she still works for government. I mean, I don't know exactly where in government she is, to be honest, anymore. But she, after that port fiasco, she kind of disappeared. Who is Donovan? He's deputy director of finance after coming in there in another position. I forget how he started out, but he has made a significant jump at the port since he's been there. That's one of the things that when we looked at the Port Authority a couple of years ago, we looked at as well. All of a sudden you go from, just a regular accounting clerk and you sit there and you get the right board members supporting you and you move up very, very quickly in positions. This person says, OMG, they're that kind of friends? Well, it's going to be like some other government authorities then. Family and friends and ex-boyfriend, and the list goes on, right? Sad, but these islands are so much of an issue now. Another person says, Cayman corruption at its best. How many people work at the port? There's no need for more than 2 to 3 deputy directors. What a joke. Why did she have so much power? Other than Eric and Dale being stick puppets. Well, Eric Bush, again, is an ex officio member, so he's not a voting member. I didn't even know until just now that Dale Crichton was on the board, so that's interesting. But I don't think that they're historically the problem, because Dale is a new appointment to the board. He wasn't there working with Jackie, so he's not one of the people that I'd be most concerned about in terms of giving her any favorable advantage over other people. Someone laughed and said she was responsible for governance. She has a bogus MBA from California Coast University, and they put it in quotations. Is she still in the position? Well, she just started the position. Yesterday was her first official day at the on the job, because remember when we announced it? Let me just go back here. Let me just go back in my memory. When we announced it that she'd actually gotten the position, nobody knew anything about it until we made that announcement 2 months ago. So if you go back to the CMR post that we did on April the 14th, right, where it was announced that she was supposed to be starting in the position, they kind of pumped the brakes a little bit and decided to onboard her today, or yesterday, my apologies, to start yesterday. Oh, she was in there, ready to get started before, And then people are like, whoa, 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 what is going on here? So we put the heat on them with that post, and then they kind of backtracked a little bit, tried to wait for it to cool down, I guess. And here she is. Started this week. So yes, still in the position. All right. California Coast University is a private, fully online university based in Santa Clara, California. Offers flexible, self-paced undergraduate. Well, Lord Jesus. You know, I don't even know what to say. This type of board BS happens all the time. The last comment or question, what is Makiva's involvement in Public Accounts Committee? And then they said, OMG, Gloria's husband is on the board. The tentacles reach far and wide. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, someone says that Beth is a professor at ICCI teaching human resources. I think she always did that on the side, but her primary job is actually working for government. So she's on some sort of leave with them, but that's another one of those black holes, my dear. Oh, another comment. Lord Jesus. The rabbit hole is now starting to fill up with some comments here. I mean, Cayman is small. And boy, there's a lot of nepotism all over the place. But let's see how this goes. The ministers absolutely get involved, director or DD positions. Legally, they're not supposed to, is what I'm saying. Morning, Sandy. I don't think it is Dale Crichton. It is Dale Christian I saw on your slide. Oh, my apologies. Am I looking at the wrong Dale? Yes, Dale Christian. Oh, I think we were, I think myself and this other person probably made the same error. Yes, I don't know who the hell Dale Christian is. Thank you for the catch. Thank you so much for that. Good catch. Yes. I was going to say, I didn't know Dale Crichton to get involved in these things. All right. Okay. Good morning. Right. Fair and independent for government agency. What that is, says this one person. What a hot mess. All right. Let me see here now. Who's responsible for appointing the boards? Those are political appointments. Yes. So the ministers, cabinet, is responsible for that. Okay. Now I do want to get to this interview, but I'm thinking what we may do is we may keep that interview until tomorrow about the whitefly, so that we don't rush it and we can focus on that properly and give this discussion today ample opportunity for your comments as well. 9362626 phone line is open. All right. Oh, this is what the guys told me. Apparently CJ was in things with Sam's wife. Who the heck is Sam? So he hired her firm as a consultant for port, and they're paying her big money, but no one knows what she's doing, allegedly. I was like, what? Sam's wife cheats on him? Who the hell is Sam? Sam who? I don't know what Sam y'all talking about. Samantha? Sam's wife. Oh no, I guess Sam would be a guy. All right, I don't know what Sam. So Dale Christian was the APD after Beth McPhail. What does APD stand for? Don't give me acronyms this early in the morning. Nepotism and corruption is rampant. Not always, but Donkey Dwayne Seymour definitely got involved in DD positions way back when. Oh, well, we know Dwayne Seymour, he did a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have done. He's not an example of the correct thing to do or to follow. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are you?
Morning, not bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored beyond all measures. I like the cold hard truth. I like the cold hard truth. Listen, you see the situation why boards don't function, why government agencies don't function, because they have a lot of family members clog up on these boards or political campaign the people for their campaign, what you call it now, campaign staff logging up these boards and don't know jack crap on how to run things or the way to do things according to law. This is where the defaults come. You have, because I am high up in government, I'm going to put my husband on this board, or I'm going to put my wife in this agency, or my husband in this. It's who you know, it's not what you know. And that's where the problem comes in. Because then at the end of the day, what they're supposed to know, they don't know. What in the job that they're supposed to do is not getting done because they don't know. So they're clogging up the system and nothing gets done. They're not excelling because they're there just because of who you know and not what you know. It's about time they clean slate and put effective people on these boards and in these in government agencies to actually get some work done and get jobs done. Not because I'm chief officer of this one that my husband is up in NRA or my husband is up in DEH clogging up the system. Huh? No, it's time it stops. It's time it stops. Reputable people need to be on these boards who have the desire to get work done. So you can really see some things getting done in the Cayman Islands. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. 936-2626. Mr. Amelia also commented on the chat that not everyone cares to work by the law and excel. Island Pearl, good morning. Island Pearl says from the time her or anyone else had something to do with the creating a job vacancy, they should not be able to apply for it. That's just my opinion. I mean, that just sounds like a lot of good governance. You know what I'm saying? All right. Ramelia says Beth McField was the best thing that ever happened to the port. Oh, we saw how that turned out. Allard says, I disagree with you with what you said in the real world. Paul cannot work with a previous person of authority who is now in a subordinate position to him. I didn't say that he couldn't. I said that there's a perception of a lot of things, and it's not specific to Paul Hurlston. It's everyone now that worked in that organization because they were all subordinate to her. So he might be able to do it. He's not going to be lasting there very much longer. He was on a fixed term contract, from what I understand, for just a couple years. He agreed to take the position. Ellard goes on to say it's been successfully done before when the premier was deputy chief officer and subordinate under his chief officer in one administration. And then leaving that job, applying for the new job to run in the next election, winning the vote. That's a political thing. That's not even, you're not comparing apples to apples here. That is, yeah, that's not the same thing at all, actually. So picking that same minister and becoming minister of his former supervisor, chief officer, yeah, kind of not the same thing. And if you don't see the difference between a board and administrative staff and why there should be a cooling off period between the two. Morning, Dean Sinclair. How you doing, honey child? Hope you're having a good day. Miss Anita says, does she have the qualifications for the position? And were they better than others that applied for it? There are people who are questioning what her qualifications are in relation to the position. So let's have a look, because I don't necessarily see, from what I can find, where she has the qualifications Now, of course, her argument could be that because she sat on this board, she somehow has insider information. But let's take a look. Does she have a LinkedIn profile? Let me see. By the way, I see we're in 2022. She made CMR News. This headline says Port Board reinstates disbanded committee despite Auditor General's concerns. So let's review some, because of course all of our memories fail us from time to time. But let us do a cursory review of what she was up to as board chair and why, on the face of it, she should never in a million years have been selected for this position. Even her behavior when she was on the board was questionable in a lot of different regards. Okay? So, Miss Anita, let's talk about it. Here we go. Board Port reinstates disbanded committee despite Auditor General's concerns. Look at the headline, the picture. Good governance, the road to good governance. Almost 2 years ago, the Cayman Islands Port Authority decided to suspend indefinitely the Audit and Risk Committee after concerns raised by the Office of the Auditor General. CMR has recently learned that the board reinstated the committee that is once again being headed up by Jacqueline Scott Rankin. Hello. Hi, Francia. You understand? Minutes from July the 30th, 2020, confirmed that the board was attempting to address concerns that were raised by the Auditor General's 2018 International Standards and Accounting SIA 260. It found that they were overstepping. Praise the Lord for these archived articles. The Auditor General's report, not Sandy Hill's personal opinion. The Auditor General's report found that the board, and specifically this committee that was being chaired by her, by said same individual, yes, were overstepping their board functions and undertaking operational duties. This is a quote. Operational duties rather than remaining non-executive. This was flagged as a significant risk to what? Quotation marks, effective governance and oversight. There it is, folks. Thank God for CMR stories, honey child. There it is. I knew that there were concerns, but I couldn't even remember all the details, to be honest, as I sat here to do this show. But there we have an article dating back to 2022, right? So in other words, let me break it down for you. The Office of the Auditor General. So this committee that she was chairing was involved. Yep. Then Chairman Kearney Gomez met with the Auditor General to discuss the matter. That's how serious it was. He even agreed, Mr. Kearney Gomez then, that the committee no longer served its original purpose and should be disbanded. However, according to June the 8th, 2020 minutes, a discussion was held on the matter, followed by a vote. Right? Both Jacqueline Scott Rankin and Richard Parchment voted against the motion, which led to it being deferred. There was some discussion about whether or not it should be disbanded or suspended. There's a snippet from the minutes. So those who supported deferring it, and then lo and behold, right, on July 30th, a motion was submitted by Gomez where he noted that it should be suspended indefinitely. Once again, She was one of 2 board members who voted against the motion. And guess what? She sat there and waited and bided her time and brought that committee back. Tell me now, does this sound like an individual that should be in charge of governance? That she should now be the deputy director of administration? I think not. Huh? Hold it now. Here we go. The committee was made up of board members, but according to sources, they do not publish any minutes, and it was unclear what their remit was. The argument was that not only was the committee mismanaging the Port Authority, micromanaging the Port Authority, probably mismanaging it too, but micromanaging the Port Authority, but it also created a committee within a committee where some board members are making decisions unbeknownst to the larger board. Listen carefully. I'm going to read this sentence extra slow for those of you who are in the back of the class. The 2 people on the committee were Jacqueline Scott Rankin and acting Deputy Director of Finance, Donovan Hutchinson. Wonk, wonk, wonk. One example of overreaching appears to have been recorded in minutes 463, where it was shared by acting port director Joseph Joey Woods that the procurement policy was created by the Audit and Risk Committee. Concerns were raised that it was ultra-virus and eventually voted against it. Woods shared that it conflicted with the law. Despite the concerns raised by everyone, Jacqueline Scott Rankin and Richard Parchment once again dissented. I'm sorry, but say what? This is who y'all hired into this position? Excuse me. Hello. It's me, Auntie Sandy over here, thinking to myself, it seems like her tenure on the board demonstrated why she should never have been hired into this position, or as far as I'm concerned, any management position in government. This is not someone who cares about good governance, following the law. Her track record, the things that she voted against, proves it. What more do you all want? They actually wanted their objections to be recorded. June the 8th. Right? The chairman advised that he had met with Auditor General with respect to her findings that board members were interfering with the operational matters of the port, as pointed out in the ISA 260 report. His view was the Audit and Risk Committee had served its function, and as such, he was proposing that it be disbanded. He stated that matters formally handled by it should be rightfully addressed by the board through the acting PD. And then it says Deputy Chairman Eric Joseph, members, blah, 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 they all voted. Yes. The chairman advised that there were a number of ways that it could have been dealt with, such as using POCs to carry out the inquiries and report to the board, which would keep the board out of operational matters. Mr. Joseph suggested, my apologies, that finance and HR departments provide monthly reports and they should be called to the board should they have any questions. Let's skip one line. Ms. Scott Rankin asked for their objections to be minuted. Yeah. objecting to recommendations by the Auditor General, objecting to good governance, right? Wow. Overreaching. Wow. Then on October the 21st, 2020, the same said Jacqueline Scott Rankin, being a member of that board, decided to reinstate the Audit and Risk Committee with, let me see here now. It says with so much, I think that's supposed to be with so much as a discussion on all that had led to it being suspended previously. I think that is meant to say with no discussion. I gotta revisit that. In fact, it is unclear if any new board members knew that the formation of the committee was controversial in any way and had previously been advised or addressed by the by the Auditor General. So I need to fix that sentence because it doesn't quite read as clearly as it should. To reinstate the Audit and Risk Committee with so much as a discussion. That's a little bit of a odd wording. So we're going to fix that here today to make that crystal clear. In other words, there was no discussion to be had. What a hot mess. Y'all see now why any logical person would come to the conclusion that she should not be in this position. She's demonstrated some really poor, overreaching characteristics when she was board member. What a mess. The reinstatement was done after the resignation of Joey Woods as port director, and shortly after the new acting port director, Beth McField, was appointed. It appears unlikely that she would have known the history of that committee either. And another unusual twist, board member Captain Ashton Bodden, who had voted to previously disband it, was the member to second the motion to reinstate it. No, sir. Yeah, boy, Port Authority, they always been special. Oh, my God. And that would have been when we were doing some of the exposés on the port. I have to go back and pull out my notes because we covered a lot. And so, yes, her and Donovan being the only two people on that board. Listen, I'm not here to tell you exactly what the two of them were up to. What I am here to tell you is that the streets have been talking about her and Donovan for a very, very long time. The nature of their relationship. I would be uncomfortable if I were her, especially as a married woman, if people were in the streets having to say all this about me. I would not blame her husband. I don't know exactly who she's married to, but I wouldn't blame her husband if he had some questions about why is it that all these people have my wife's name in every sentence with this Donovan Scott guy. You understand what I'm saying? They need to have some marriage counseling to figure out why that's happening. There have been lots of discussions about it at the port. Again, one could argue, well, maybe they're just so close that it's just an unnatural situation. Like it looks unnatural. Well, that's a problem. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. Y'all gotta do better. Y'all have got to do better. And the way that she goes to bat for this guy is also extremely concerning. No, sir. Ay. Y'all gotta do better. All right. O'Neillia, says Port Authority is controlled by the lodge. Facts. They want control because they receive under the table payoffs. Everybody knows this. Well, I don't know about everybody because I've never heard this before. They hire people who they can control. Remember when Leo Anglin was hired illegally, then quietly left when the hirings of him and others were questioned? Anglin is now over at the Coast Guard, which was another illegal hiring. Lodge again. Get rid of the lodge and the issues go away. Facts. I don't think that that's accurate. I mean, I don't even know who Leo's supposed to be, but at the end of the day, this is about, we see things happening in plain sight, and quite frankly, we're not calling it out. We're not doing anything about it. Now, listen, there've been nepotism in families, in organizations, and whatever that doesn't have anything to do with Lodge. So, I mean, y'all be going overboard with this whole Lodge conspiracy theory. They're a network, a brotherhood, just like others, and I guess that they look out for each other wherever they can. But a lot of that happens in Cayman already, just because you family to somebody and you know somebody and you screwing somebody and this and that and whatever. So there's the concept of how Lodge works, which is the networking and the nepotism within that organization. That is a concept that is wide and far in the Cayman Islands. So it doesn't have anything to do with just being Lodge. There's too much nepotism and so forth that happens right here in this country. And we need to call a spade a spade. Anthony Russell, good morning, says Sandy. Get Joey Woods on the phone. I'm sure he would talk to you and give his opinion, because he's been vocal on social media with very lengthy, opinionated posts recently about the operation of the port. Well, I think that he has always been very vocal, especially since he left the port. And quite frankly, he was there for a very, very long time. So, I suppose that he should know more than anybody else some of the drama that is going on there. His name is Donovan Scott. No, it's Donovan Hutchinson. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm marrying them off already. Yes, sir. I guess I would have had to say Jacqueline Hutchinson, not Scott Rankin, right? Donovan Hutchinson is his name. Her name, let me clarify, is Jacqueline Scott Rankin. All right. Anglin is Scotland's son-in-law at the Marine Unit. Scotland who? Which Scotland? Lord Jesus. I can't even keep up with it. Like I said, family business is what Cayman is operates on. Oh my God. Who is he? Oh, this is her husband? This is who she married to? Ooh, honey child. Mr. Mark, I think you better have a conversation with her. Oh, I know him. Yes, I know the face. Child. You better talk to her and Donovan to see what really going on. No, sir. You don't look like you're a man that would put up with too much foolishness, but I'm just saying. Which member of parliament approved or agreed to appoint her back to the port board? Well, I guess who was minister then? That would have fell under what's his name? Kenneth Bryan? And then she would have been removed, I guess, with this new government. So that's Minister J. It's a calamity. It really, really is quite shocking and unbelievable. Don't read this out loud. Okay. Oh, well, I mean, I don't see why we can't read that out loud. It's a good question. It's a good question. And this is what I'm talking about. Here we are, focused on Lodge, but I'm telling you that Cayman has so many instances of nepotism and opportunities for people to, just get involved in all sorts of stuff, like spouses that work together in government, and one is senior to the next one, and government ministers getting in who own companies, and then they get into a ministerial position where their companies benefit from contracts that they're now responsible for. How many times have we not seen that? Y'all need to worry about that kind of foolishness going on more than talking crap about Lodge. Think about it. Former minister of not tourism, but ports fell under him, Dwayne Seymour. How many conflicts of interest could we line up there? Right? Contracts at airport, CIAA. And then he's like responsible for that area. It just, on the one hand, this is the dangers that you run when a country is this small, that you will have these unfortunate crossing overs, right? Because everybody family, everybody, this my cousin, that my brother, this, that, whatever. And so I think that as a result of that, what you need to be very, very cautious of is creating what we call these Chinese walls, where you have this division, where you go above and beyond, you go out of your way to ensure that there are all of these checks and balances in place, that there's no crossing over. And this is one of those decisions. This comes right back to the point of where we started with this discussion about how this position was filled. Nobody in their right mind who's sitting on that board should have thought that this was a good idea. It's a horrible idea. Yes. Don't make no sense. They actually thought that they were going to get away with this? That Caymanians are so fool that we were going to sit here and allow this position to be filled and not have a single critical thing to say about this? This is how you know. This is how you know that these boys think we're all stupid. Huh? Obviously. I forgot what word I was missing. It should say with not so much as of a discussion on all that had led to it being previously reinstated. But I'm gonna reword it completely to make it really crystal clear. And I need to capitalize. Okay. So, yes, so this now, my apologies, my sinuses just started irritating me. This now is the point that I'm trying to make. This should have been obvious to everyone, right? That, hold on a second, we're going to appoint her in this position? And we think that this is going to pass the sniff test? That people are going to be okay with this? That people are not going to be like, huh? She sat there and helped draft the what? No. It's ridiculous. It's insulting, actually, that they thought that they could get away with this. And it just demonstrates that, what's the saying? As much as things change, they still stay the same. Like, seriously. No, sir. He means the Coast Guard, Scotland. He has a son-in-law, but his child is a very young, I mean, I think he's university age, but He not got a son-in-law, and he has one son. So I'm confused. I'm still confused. So Scotland being what's his first name again? Robert Scotland does not have a son-in-law, as far as I know. I stand to be corrected because I don't know y'all business, but I'm confused by that. Ugh, what a hot mess. Mark is from East End, so what does that mean? I know them East Enders, not no pushovers. No, sir. Well, I don't know. She from where? Bodden Town? Now that's a mix-up situation there, because I know them East End men don't play. But anyway, I'll leave that for Matt of him to do his own independent investigation, so he can come to his own conclusions about what's going on there. England is Scotland's son-in-law. I don't think that's right. All right, so somebody reminds us here that a board shall have the specific responsibilities of, and they underline the one section here that's relevant, right? Training for management and employees and a succession plan for senior management. Where was the succession plan in all of this? And specifically for that position. So, to the person who suggested, my apologies, to the person who suggested speaking with Mr. Woods, we reached out to him, and he said that this is something that would have never occurred if he was port director, not even if there was political pressure to do so. Huh? Good morning. Let's not forget that Joke, aka Dwayne Seymour, had employment infractions, such as not paying pensions and insurance when he was minister, and Juliana made him minister of labor and thing there. Not only Juliana, but I'm gonna go back a little bit here on this, and say that in fact, when he joined with the coalition government then that was led by Wayne Panton put him in as minister of responsible for labor and pension. Because I remember this because I picked up the phone and I said to Wayne, Wayne, help me understand how your government would have made this decision. This is a man who is in arrears. And he said, oh, no, they spoke to him and he told them it had been sorted out. I said, yeah. You know what we say as Caymanians, right? A promise is a comfort to a fool. I said, did you check it? Did you verify? These guys not thinking to themselves that they need to check and verify if a government minister, someone who served the people of the Cayman Islands for all these years, is actually being honest with them. Well, I know one thing. Y'all not got no sense. I'm still trying to adjust my camera. Y'all don't have one bit of sense if you believe anything that these politicians say, especially people like John who have a record. Let me sort out my sinuses and take a little commercial break here this morning. And then we're going to come back and start to wrap things up a little bit.
If you're a parent right now, you already know the cost of living has gone up. Rent, childcare, grocery. When the cost of living rises, government must rise to meet it. And we have. Under the revised ECAP policy, our Early Childhood Assistance Program, we've increased funding to keep pace with what families are actually paying today for their children's early education. Who benefits? A father working every hour he can. A single mother doing it alone. A grandparent raising grandchildren they love. Maybe that's you. Up to 235 Caymanian children will benefit directly. And I want every single one of them to have the start they deserve. That is why we are here. If you've applied before and been disappointed, I encourage you to try again. If you've never applied because you assumed you wouldn't qualify, now is the time to find out. And if the funding didn't feel like enough before, it should now. Is your child 3 years old and Caymanian? You may qualify. Visit us at moeapplications.gov.ky and apply for the 2026-2027 academic year.
You're listening to The Cold Hard Truth on CMR TV, CMR Radio, and all of our digital platforms. We thank our sponsors and listeners across the Cayman Islands and around the world for supporting independent media and fearless conversation. Stay with us. More discussions, more accountability, and more of the issues impacting our community right after this break.
All right, folks. Whew, my apologies. I don't know what's going on. Is there some extra pollen or something in the air today? I haven't even been outside, so I don't know what's going on. But my sinuses are here, agitating me. This morning, I soon go through a whole roll of tissue. Oh my goodness, what a mess! Hot mess. All right. Don't read this one aloud either. Oh Lord, have mercy. You should know who Jackie is. Okay, let's read this. I know of her. It's not that I don't know her at all. I know of her more in the context of being an integral part of the People's Progressive Movement. That's how I know Jackie. Yes. So give me 1 second. Let me just pull up this comment here. Give me a second. Computer moving kind of slow, you know. Hold on, honey child. They just thought we were dumb, says this person. Comment here about Leo. Okay, we're not really going down. The show isn't about Leo, so maybe that's a different show. Someone talks about him not having any experience in Marine. Well, I'm assuming nobody who got hired Marine had any experience until they got the job, probably. Police had a Marine unit, but I could see why there'd be some concerns about maybe just taking them over completely. It's sad to say yes. However, ish like this play happens because nothing will be done. There's no accountability. Indeed, you look like a troublemaker. It's only talk. I really don't know why the masses can't see how things in our little country are going down the drain. Thank you for bringing these issues forward and in the public domain. Now, let's really see what the outcome of this crap show will be. You provided so many reasons why she's not the person for the job in one episode, so let's see the outcome. Huh. What a hot mess. All right. By the way, stick a pin. I'm happy to say that we now have, I'm going to try it out today. I'm happy to say that we now have a tool. I'm happy to say that we now have a tool to be able to extract the comments during the show. And this is great because I know some of our guests, especially the political ones, like to have the comments to be able to, if they miss something or whatever, their teams can go back and make sure that they're better prepared or they have done research and whatever for the next episode. So I'm actually going to try it for the first time with today's show. So stay tuned. Look at me falling apart with my little bra strap over here. My apologies. It's always showing, by the way. I know a lot of people, when they see me out, they're like, oh, Sandy, let me fix this for you. It's a permanent situation. Let me tell you why, and then we're going to get back on topic here. I have scoliosis. So my spine simply isn't straight. And back in the day, when it was first discovered, this is when I went to the US, and they discovered that I had scoliosis, which is basically a curvature in the spine. Back in those days, you didn't really touch your spine. Like, the surgeries weren't as fancy as they are today. So it was always like, look, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. You might paralyze yourself versus just having to, because most people don't notice it, but there's definitely a curvature in my spine. And so that's why on this side, you always see this particular bra strap kind of dropping a lot of times. That's because I'm a lot of scoliosis, honey child. All right, give me 1 second. Because I know a lot of you noticed it on the show, and you're like, what's going on with that bra strap? Yeah, it happens. Okay, so this person says, you should know who Jackie is. Her mom used to own Champion House. She's the eldest sister of Stephanie Scott, Sophia Scott, and Nicole Scott. So, I mean, I know generally who they are, right? Bless their little hearts. And I don't think I know any of the sisters personally. Which one works Maples? Is that Sophia? One of them is a lawyer, and then I don't even think I know the other ones at all. But yes, I do know the Scott family. Again, very much involved in politics with the PPM. I remember the father. Is the father still alive, or did he pass away? Mr. Uriel, I think his name was. But he would always do catering for PPM events and stuff like that. So I know Jackie in the context of the progressives and the early days when the movement got started. The person goes on, I see your concerns. The questions we should ask is, was this a fair hiring process? Who else applied? And what are their qualifications? Is the minister in charge in support of this hire despite the negative implications with staffing, etc.? I know that she never broke any laws here, and her skill set may be useful now that she's an employee. However, if employees were never happy with her as a board member, then how could they have a good working relationship now that she's an employee? And not just any old employee, senior management, huh? Okay. Cayman needs to get away from hiring folks based on who you fa and your connections, and look at their qualifications and expertise. Let's start with the politicians. It's sweet me when y'all tell the truth. I've been serving as a director on board since 2006, and yet to have anyone in government reach out to offer a spot on a board. So private boards, he's saying, when he directs on boards. I would welcome the opportunity to sit on the Caymanian Status and Permanent Residency Board or Cayman Airways. Chad, that's because you're not political. Let me be very clear. Most of these things are a political appointment. That's what it's always been. Very few board appointments are made on merit. And even when they're made on merit, it's merit plus politics. Now, I'm not going to criticize it entirely because of the role that boards have in this country. I understand the need to have board members who are in alignment with, yes, your position as a government. You could never have a board member who is out here publicly criticizing the government, don't support the government's position, and people actually think, well, this is going to be a good board member. Not quite. So, if you go back to, I'm just trying to think when this was done. We actually did an editorial on boards quite a number of years ago, and I would suggest that you guys go back and have a look at this because it is a very, very interesting editorial. The first thing that you should look at is whether or not board appointees are actually qualified. That's the most important thing. Due diligence, the qualifications, and what it is that they bring to the table. I'll try and find the article because it still stands as a very valid editorial piece. I'll have a look and see if I can put my hands on it and perhaps reshare it because it is very appropriate still and remains that way. This is probably years ago now, but I'll find it and I'll share it with you, right? Talks about the nepotism, talks about all this other stuff. We need to rein it in. All right. So thank you so much for those comments. So unless you know someone and you're politically connected, I think that, you know, the reality of you being put on a board is very, very slim. Onelia says, after an FOI, even though it was kept quiet, over 80% of senior positions in government is held by lodge members. Stats don't lie. How would you, that so the only point that you're making is the majority of people in Cayman who are in positions or in lodge. That's the only real point that you're making. So thanks for the photo. Yes, Robert Scotland is in lodge. And I hate to tell you all this, but you'd be hard pressed to find someone who is in any position in Cayman, senior positions, who's not in lodge. Everybody, it's a thing. I don't understand it. I've never been one to be inclined to be in lodge or in fraternities or not fraternities because I'm a guy. Not a guy, but sororities and all this kind of stuff. But most human beings love this kind of thing. They love joining groups and organizations because at our core of who we are pack animals. So, you know, I've known people who tried 4 or 5 times to get in lodge after being constantly denied. And they're on their knees begging to be in lodge. Now, does it help them with positions? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if someone's your lodge brother or sister, because I think there's a female version of lodge as well, you know, you look out for people. I'm not saying that lodge doesn't exist and there's not influences there. But to me, it's no more impactful than the fact that you're so-and-so's brother or sibling, or you come from a particular family name in Cayman. That's going to get you just as far as if you had a lodge connection anyway. Johan says, how can any board or public authority have a succession plan when there's direct political interference in most cases and from elected officials, senior civil servants and cabinet in direct contravention of the governing legislation? It happens frequently and it's still happening, etc. Marshall says, I remember Jackie from Champion House. I didn't know she was so unscrupulous. KY Forever, you can relate to having scoliosis. What is the new number, calling number for me? Poor Johan. You're struggling with the concept of what being blocked means, huh? The street joins groups. Why not legal high powers such as government? Listen, human beings love groups. Yeah, because it's like you're either going to be a leader and you want the group to follow you, or you're going to be a follower and you need somebody to lead, or you need somebody to. You're going to be a follower and you need somebody to follow. it's just how human beings, I suspect, are probably designed as pack animals, right? Higher thinking, supposedly, pack animals. I have never been inclined to be interested in any of that stuff. I just don't feel like I have the energy or time for it. What a mess. All right. In government, the Nazi Party was set up as a brotherhood of men to help mankind. The lodge is set up the same way. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. The obsession with lodge. Morning. They do try to appoint political appointments to boards to shut them up and use conflicts of interest. I was asked on several occasions to pick any board as an attempt to keep me quiet and less critical. It happens. Oh, no. that happens all the time. I have said it on multiple occasions that not this go round, but the previous election, when Chris Saunders got in, he called me and he's like, name a board that you want to sit on, any board. And I said, no, thanks. I'm good. I don't need a board appointment. I've sat on boards before. And I'm not saying that they're a waste of time, because somebody's got to do it. And some of them do very, very important work. But I don't have, my first issue is the conflict of interest. That would be so obvious. Because I reckon, unless there's a board on, I don't know, picking pretty flowers out of the bushes. You know what I'm saying? There's no board that you could put me on where I'm not going to be sitting there listening for the sauce and looking at the hot shit that's going on all around the country. I'd be like, mm-hmm. And also for the other board members, that would make them very, very uncomfortable. Understandably so. Who the hell Cole? This person making me laugh here this morning. They said, why people sending you info you can't read? What kind of secret club are you all in? Oh, God. Don't be mixing me up in no story, neither. Nicole is on the Miss Cayman. Oh, whoever Nicole Scott is. Oh, okay. I don't know these people. I don't know her. Okay, well, good for her, I guess. Okay. I would ask to go on boards. I was asked to go on boards many moons ago by UDP Donkey. Quote, don't worry, we will call you and tell you how to vote. It's $500 a month. I respectfully declined and told them I'm definitely the wrong person. Right? Boy, these people are so stupid. The things that they actually say to you is shocking. All right. Oh, child safeguarding board. That's your passion. Oh, yes. 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 Thank you so much, Anthony. That's definitely a board I should be on. Oh my God. I don't think that board exists, but if there was one, I would want to be there. MASH unit, maybe? I don't know how MASH unit appoints people and how that works. Lodge is similar to Freemasons. Yep, all the same fraternities, really. For me, Lodge and these things, they're like the mature version of when you were in the sororities and fraternities and whatever. That's how they start you out. You join a fraternity, you become a fraternity brother, sororities and whatever. They're more prominent in the US. And, everybody else loves a good lodge or Freemason, those types of organizations. Person says exactly why I never took a post. Can you imagine sitting on a board and knowing they're talking BS and can't voice any objections or spirited opinions? Child. Someone says, tell Johan to call 916 blocked for life. Oh, Jesus Christ. Y'all are so scandalous. Poor Johan. Not. Sorry, Johan. Can't answer that phone. Yes, sir. All right. So now I'm going to do the poll question of the day. What about political parties? That's a formation quality to lodge. Come on, guys. Legal groups are everywhere. Yes. And, even as someone who joined a political party and then soon realized how, initially oh, yes, we're going to be different. We're going to be different. We're going to do this different. And I was like, okay, I'm all for different. And to be honest and be, engaging and have people work collaboratively and And then I started to realize, and there was a pivotal time. There are times in life when you see certain things happen and you go, oh, we still playing this game? And it had to do with Alden McLaughlin and the member at the time from East End, Arden McLean. So I've probably told you guys this story before, but I'm going to tell you the story again. Because it was when Kurt Tibbetts was deciding that he was going to be stepping down from political life, going into what he's in now, developer, real estate, venture capitalist, whatever. And the internal organization was going to be voting for who they thought the next leader of the Progressives, the People Progressives Party, as they were properly called back then, should be. And Alden did not feel like he could have gotten the position on merit alone. I want y'all to get this story straight in your head, He did not feel like he could get the position on merit alone. So what did he do? Oh, what he did was he went around back door talking to people in the party. Vote for me, support me. Cutting Arden, because it was both him and Arden that were up for the position, and essentially cutting Arden off at the knees. And that's why Arden left the PPM. That's why he left the People's Progressive Movement. And I saw that, and I was there. I was an integral part of the operation. I used to actually work in the PPM office. I set up the first PPM office. Y'all don't know how deep the relationship goes back, right? So a lot of these newcomers now, they can come in with all kind of fanciness and they don't know the history. So I was there in the office. Denny can collaborate this story. PPM member number 1, Billy Adam, still got his membership card. He can tell you. Because in fact, Denny even helped guide me and, what some of the computer equipment we'd need for the office, and was trying to get certain things set up and whatever. So being very, very conscious now of what I knew was happening and what I witnessed, and feeling very uncomfortable with it, knowing that was wrong. That's not how you go about getting elected. Well, little did I know. He was already well seasoned in how to be a not so good politician. So yeah, that's how they were doing it. Going, doing these backdoor deals and whatever. And, people told Arden, he became aware of it, and he resigned from the party. Because elections are supposed to be fair. And there was an element here of this wasn't going to be fair. So there you go. Congratulations to former Premier Alden McLaughlin, because then he demonstrated that not even this party that we had built could, from the ground up. Because I remember when Alden got involved in politics, and he couldn't even go to somebody's door and knock on their door because he was scared of the people. The same people he was looking to elect him. And I remember, bless his soul, he's still alive, but Kurt Tibbetts taking him around door to door, introducing him. This is why they say Kurt Tibbetts is the godfather of politics outside of West Bay, right? Because he would take him door to door, sit down with them Georgetown people, and he would tell him, Alden, you gotta sit down with these people and meet them where they are. Sit down and play dominoes. Go to Country and Western, sit down, have a drink with the people that you're going to be represented. You have to know them, right? Eat some rabbit out of their pot. They're not gonna poison you. What are you scared of the people for? Yeah. Many a nights they sat down on Kurt Tibbetts' back porch. Yes, the turtle meat. Kurt can cook a mean turtle meat. Cooking the turtle meat and schooling him and how to be a good representative of the people, how to meet the people where they are. Because he grew up, I think, very sheltered. I mean, I don't know what kind of upbringing Alden had, but he looked like he was scared of people. And you can't be an elected official and be scared of people. That's not how that works. So Kurt Tibbetts did a lot of hand holding with Alden, got him elected the first time, and ensured that he, got to, I think, eventually where he was politically. He has his entire political career thanks to his, again, lodge brother, I'm sure. And also, what's that other organization that they're in? Lions Club? You notice that a lot of politicians come up through Lions Club, actually. Ozzy, Kurt Tibbetts, Alden, and the list goes on and on. Alfonso. They were all Lions Club members. I don't see y'all going on about Lions Club, which, by the way, is a great organization. Does a lot of good work. I'm just saying, that's also a brotherhood. And that's how a lot of them got their start. So, I say that to say this, right? The political history is there. And they're still riding, Mr. Really told me he got in and riding Kurt jacket tail, and they're still doing that. Because I can tell you, there's a Georgetown representative right now who would have never gotten elected if number one, if she didn't join PPM, and number two, if Kurt Tibbetts didn't go around holding her hand during the last election. So, that's the reality of what it is, honey shell. But, yeah, he was scared of people, child. I remember one time he went down Windsor Park, and Alden, Kurt Tibbetts was like, Alden, sit down. Sit in these people's yard. They gonna bring you some rabbit, and you gonna eat it. You hear me? And poor old Alden, he was like, oh, okay, Kurt, whatever you say. Yeah, man, Kurt Tibbetts was the godfather. I used to try and hush, but Alden was afraid of the people. He got this little straight hair. Like Kurt, he would have got elected anyway. Aw, no, man, them Georgetown. I was like, who the hell? Who? Alden McLaughlin? Oh, you Mrs. So-and-so. What his father's name? Bless his little heart. He was such a nice little man. McNamee McLaughlin, you his son? Oh, but how you not been out of what? Where you been? Yes, sir. That's where you see it. Arden is very vocal, but ego is too big. He's not working politics in the background, angry at Rankin. Who the hell's Rankin? Oh, that got in and helping A.L. Thompson's build. Buy all Eastenders, only assets their lands. What you saying now? LT gone East End? Well, I can tell y'all, if Caymanians fool enough to keep selling their land, I guess this time at least they're selling it to another Caymanian, but I mean, y'all need to do better. Amelia's Kurt Tibbetts still runs PPM. What a mess. Anthony says, come on, Johan, invest in one of the available voice changing apps and VPN and get your point out there to call in. Lord Jesus. What a mess. That's funny, though. That is funny, Anthony. I must tell you. You're making me laugh now. What? Abby says lodge is for prefects that peaked in high school who need to chase another narcissistic high. Oh my God. What a hot mess. Just for the record, says Marshall, we're talking about Perlina Lumsden. I mean, she shouldn't be insulted, I think. Yeah. It's a no-brainer, I guess. Romelia says, I never saw Kurt Tibbetts walking with Barbara. Well, by the time that Barbara ran, let's put things in proper context. By the time that Barbara ran, she was already in the organization long enough and had been working the streets and the ground. Don't take that the wrong way now. But she'd been working the streets on the ground where he didn't have to walk with her because they already had walked out on many campaigns together by the time they convinced her to run. Because remember now, and again, I remember because I was there, she even started out, she was actually Kurt Tibbets's political assistant one term, where she was in government building. And after that, after she lost that job when he didn't get in, when that government didn't take the government, and she lost her job and she didn't have a salary and she was unemployed for a really long time. I remember Barbara saying to me, she would never get involved in anything with politics again. Clearly, she changed her mind because it was so hard for her to find a job. And the job that Barbara probably still has to this day, she's not going to tell you all this, but I got to set the record straight. I reached out to CML on her behalf and worked whatever little magic I could, even if it was just a little bit, to get her that position. So I know she up in her feelings about me and all salted because I told the truth about her reputation within the party and within the broader community. But, you know, the truth can sometimes be a little bit hurtful. But I'm not telling no lies and nobody. That way nobody can't sue me for defamation and can't win. They can sue, but they certainly never win because I be telling the truth. Yeah. And so on the one hand, she's upset about that. But if she wanted to be honest, she would also tell the people that, yes, the job that I've held all these years, held on to, even when I was in politics, was thanks to that same woman, Sandra Hill, because I don't be holding no grudge against people. I'm just saying. What a hot mess. All right. Marshall, I didn't mean it like that. Y'all trying to behave. Cha. I meant like not literally working the streets. Y'all know what I meant. She was working the streets with Kurt Tibbets. Oh Lord, there's no way to say that. That just doesn't sound wrong. Lord God. Auntie Sandy, you know them children, you tell them not to touch something on the table and there'll be consequences. And the child slowly moves a hand towards the object. Cough, your hand. What a hot mess. All right, I understand that Alden and Kurt were campaigning hard for Roy Tatum and Red Bay. Alden, yes, last election. I think it is pride, Alden, have not shyness. Pride. Okay, well, okay. Well, if that's what we can call it, then, you know, okay. David and Chris took her around house to house in Windsor Park and they won her the votes. Why do you think Romelia and Nolly, SIP, were all friends until it went left? PPM coming to West Bay PPM coming to West Bay for, I think that's not supposed to be there, but I called Kenneth Bryan. West Bay don't want PPM down here. They are who got us in the population mess. Stay up that side with your big mouth. Oh, PPM is trying to expand into West Bay? Well, that's never been PPM territory. I mean, yeah. No, honey child. No. That's not happening. They should know better. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Sandra. How are you?
Morning, dear. What you say, PP? I'm coming for you in West Bay, honey child.
Oh, PPM coming. And as critical as I have been of PPM,
Aye.
they're the only ones that you can get in contact with, Sandra, to get anything done when you need the help you need, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I have a story for PPM when they come West Bay, because I'm going to come in my Cayman T-shirt.
Yes, sir.
And I am going to tell the PPM that I have sent 2 emails to them, Mr. Joey Hugh
Aye.
and Mr. Roy Mike Targart. It's not 2, it's many. And it's got to do, Sandra, with what is happening at the HSA and many more things happening at the DFA of how they approve you with something because they have to pay more rent for you because rents have gone up high sky. And because you don't have anything left to live with, you are now forced to live off of a system that is fucked up, Sandra.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard my Big Mouth Friday.
No.
But I spoke what I had to speak about your friend. Well, not my friend no more, Lizette Yearwood, because I put her in her place.
Oh, Lord, have
Okay?
mercy.
I have been battling the HSA on 3 different occasions, Miss Sandra, to find out why antiretrovirals have to go with a lapse of almost a week at time.
Oh, Jesus. That's not good.
The last time was about a week and a half ago nearly.
What's the excuse that they're giving, though? Because that's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous. And I put it out there, and I sent 7 members of the sitting government, Sandra, was sent the email, was included from the time I went back to Miss Yearwood. And Miss Yearwood didn't even know the hospital, the HSA, was out of antiretrovirals.
Lord Jesus.
News to her. But yet Miss Yearwood, in previous emails, when her male EMS discriminated against me at the hospital when I couldn't breathe almost 3 years ago, right in front of the room in emergency with the curtain half full, told the Indian nurse I had HIV and to be careful. After he had just finished wheeling in another patient out of an ambulance that he had got out of. She came back and about, I'm not only the CEO of the HSA, I am your friend. And I said to Lizette, that's what makes this so bad. You see, what's going on at the HSA needs to be ranted out. It would have been, Sandra, almost a week, and I was out of antiretrovirals, young lady. You hear me?
Wow.
And I went to Miss Yearwood last week, Wednesday, and I told her I no longer am coming back there at any HSA branded facility.
Wow.
I am no longer wanting my medicines dispensed from the HSA because when I went back, when Colin Medford had me so pissed off along with Miss Yearwood in October of 24, Miss Sandra, when they changed my medicine from Atripla, young lady, that they could no longer source out of Europe, when a medication as important as that for me to live, and let me make this clear here again, I have had HIV almost 14 years. And the discrimination that comes with it in this country. That's why I don't have any pension left, Sandra. 2018, you cut me off because I couldn't find work and I was being discriminated against, being called all kind of names when you go to an interview. The people, your friends call you back and tell you this one up inside the workplace talking about you, they're not going to hire you because you got HIV and you're gay and you're this and you're that. But yet I'm undetectable, young lady.
Yeah.
And I have done everything they wanted, and now it's time they listen to me. 2 systems, Sandra, do not work. The DFA part of it, because they approve your long-term financial assistance. Cayman, listen good. There's plenty of us out there suffering right now because of this. Because your rent, they have had to double pay your rent because rents have gone up because I had to come out of the slum room I was living in that woman house, church woman in Birch Tree Hill. The government knows all about it. And the government knows about now that the lack of management at the HSA called Miss Lizette Yearwood. And I told her Friday, it is time and no place or energy for her to remain at the HSA. And if the government doesn't either do one of the 2 things, make her resign, fire her, I am getting a petition started. And I told Lizette Yearwood, she ain't my friend no more. She needs to go, Sandra. I told her Friday on the show, she raised up Cotton Tree Bay, Kim and Bright, one Kim and Bright to another, and this one raised up West in the Point. I am not afraid of anyone in government. I'm not afraid of Lizette Yearwood. I ain't afraid of no health minister. But I'm going to put this out there this morning so the health minister, so our current health minister will hear what I have to say about her and her efficiencies. And I want the Premier, Mr. Andre Ebanks and Ms. Catherine Ebanks Wilkes to listen today, right now. I went out in 2023 or 24, and I asked for help, Sandra, because I don't have anything left. They took money off of my long-term financial in January because they got paid more for my rent. Now I'm out money that I don't have to live with. I have done everything I have been asked from everyone in the medical field at the HSA. And now Lizette gone and involved two doctors. One that I don't want nothing to do with, Dr. Robertson, why I left and went to Dr. Gerard Christian Bike in West Bay, because he's a doctor that cares about his patients. Dr. Christian only cares about her patient numbers. And then she gone and involved Dr. Cummins, a good doctor who was my first doctor. And I told Miss Yearwood Friday, if anyone all you call back, you now have 28 and a half days left. That was Friday. To start out my health care and my dispensing of medicine outside of the HSA, because I've lost all faith and trust in a system that I've been in on 14 years, Sandra, and it doesn't work. The people at DFA, they don't care whether you live or you die. But I keep reminding people, Sandra, in high places, you hear me? That people that sit in high places, snap your finger and you could be worse off than I am today. But why is it that we are not anymore? Sandra, we're not in 2012, okay? Where I lost my job at Travel Pros because the woman wouldn't take me back. And the woman fought me and she wouldn't pay me my severance. You hear me? All of this has gone on and it keeps going on. There is no pension. I don't have any pension left. I am at the mercy of two systems, Sandra, that doesn't work because people in charge, that Tamara Hurlstad, she needs to go out of DFA and many more. And I keep reminding people, when you ask to create a paper trail, people need to understand what that is. It's an email trail, and it is a paper trail, because emails can get printed, and what you have in the letterhead can get printed. So, two systems, I'm sorry, that do not work. And, I get up every day, and I fight some days. You really don't know my story, Sandra, but I fight every day to live, okay? Because I've been through some very bad things in this last 14 years with how I have been treated in this country. And it's high time that the government of the day start listening to how vulnerable Caymanians have to live. It's not fair on us. We get discriminated against because we're gay, because we have HIV, or for whatever reason in this country. And the narrative, Sandra, has to change. It has to change. And I don't care if people have to learn everything about me. If I have to go public with what I have gone through in 14 years to get a system to change, to realize that persons living with HIV have to live in this country, I will put me at the chopping block to get it changed. I have went as far, Sandra, yesterday. I'm going to let a bombshell out, and then I'm going to shut my mouth and watch how these curtains fall for our health minister today, Miss Catherine Ebanks Will. I went out to her about I think it was 2023 or 2024. I think it was in her first term. I needed a pair of glasses, Sandra, because I cannot afford glasses. My part of it 4 years ago was almost $1,200 without the lousy $200 for cynical, because my eyesight is bad, okay? Right now, I barely can afford contacts at $230. They've gone up $20 for every 3 months. It's $230. I can't afford them. And right now, from wearing contacts, I have an eye infection. It looks starting in my eye on the left side. It started now with a sty. And I called the ministry yesterday and I laid it out to them. By Friday, someone someone in the ministry is going to authorize me to go to Optical Outlook, where I went 2 years ago, to get my eyes examined and to get a pair of glasses that I have not had in 4 years, because the last pair I got, I had to buy in the U.S., where my sister works at an eye doctor's office, so I could get half off just to afford a pair of glasses I've not had in 4 years. And I'm forced to wear contacts, and now they are affecting my eyesight. And I am done with the system. But let me put you and tell you what Miss Catherine Ebanks said to me when I reached out to her. I was told by her staff, Miss Kathy is busy this week, when I reached back out after a week of not hearing anything. And I was told she would get back to me after she had done, you want to hear it? After she had done dealing with the after school program, because that was she was dealing with for that month. Okay? I asked for help with shoes because I have a high instep, a flat foot. Cynical has to pay for one pair of insoles every year from me, and I don't abuse, and I have never abused my Cynical. They cost $600. They're due for this year, and I'm going to get them again. But I don't abuse my Cynical, Sandra. I have done everything. I have been asked stuff and more, and it is a shame that somebody in my situation has to come out and say everything that is happening in my life for Cayman to know what they didn't know. Because when I came out of hospital in 2012, I already knew I had HIV. I knew I had it. The doctor didn't tell me. The staff talked it. Okay? So what Cayman doesn't know about me, they don't know. But I cannot continue to live in this dysfunction because I'm a person, Sandra. When I get to my limit, there's only one thing for me to do, and to speak about what is happening in my life. And I'm tired, Sandra, of two systems that don't work. You hear me? So Miss Catherine Ebanks gave me a $50 gift certificate, a card to go to Winner's Circle to buy a pair of shoes, where my sneakers are almost $200. That's the help you get from your MPs. But yet, a year ago, everybody coming around hounding me down in Birch Street Hill to come vote for this woman. If you can't help someone that is down on their luck, that has nothing, how you expect somebody come vote your fucking ass into politics? Answer me that question. That woman will never get my vote for just what she did and didn't do. And I don't care. There's a lot more stories out there for her and many other MPs that when people are in desperate need, they cannot get the help. I keep telling anyone, you could be me in a heartbeat. You could be me in a heartbeat. And it wasn't me whoring around why I got HIV. I got it from a man that I loved. And he lied. And he's no longer in Cayman. But yet family and society still damning me and hating me. And two systems that I have to access to live, I have so much issues with them that they just do not care. But you hear me? When I am done, there's going to be a lot of mouths and ears in government soon that got start ringing. Because I have made it clear. I do not want to go back to HSA. So find me a way, whether it's a private doctor. You all know all of these wonderful doctors in our system. Give me one that can care for me. And would you like to hear the best part out of all of this? A Caymanian who has done everything that he's been asked and more keeps getting discriminated against from DFA and the HSA. And you know what? They don't really care about me. Why? Because I'm just a name and a number attached to a piece of paper. And nobody cares whether you live or you die in this country. So yeah, I'm gonna keep opening my big Kim and bright mouth like I told the young lady at the health ministry yesterday. And I gave her strict instructions. I don't care if it's your chief officer I don't care if you're deputy chief officer. I do not care who the hell it is. But after I am done, I will have a pair of glasses on my face because I need them. And if I don't get them, I'm not coming with lawyer, you know. I come in with lawyers. You hear me, Sandra, Miss Sandra? Lawyers. Because of what has gone on for 14 years. And I told them I have a paper trail longer than Cayman Islands, and it can cover the Cayman Islands many times over. Because I wanted a paper trail, and I have that paper trail. When I could work, when my brain was functioning, it don't function right anymore. So I can't work, Sandra. So I keep to myself. You hear me? I am one of these people that suffer from mental illness that do not need to be hospitalized because it is bad, but I don't carry on mashing up and cussing people out for no reason. When I cuss, honey, I got cuss you for a reason. And like I have told my good doctor, and I'm going to leave it here, when this dragon starts to puff and huff and blow smoke, you better pray he not coming for your ass, because when he coming on all cylinders, fully loaded like the NASA space shuttle used to go up, fully loaded with rocket boosters. And I got a paper trail that will sink them. So I can leave that there. But I hope the ministry listening today, and I hope the government of the Cayman Islands listening today, and I hope that one called Catherine Ebanks will listen, because she can stay in politics, but she won't get my vote ever. Never didn't vote last time, and I don't know if I ever will vote. Because people that need help in this country, between the DFA and the HSA, look, I'm going to leave you with this and shut my big Caymanian mouth. I'm going to give you a story to go dig this morning, you hear? Because it's affecting a few people that I know as Caymanians. You dig into the Lions Eye Care Center, you start digging up inside the sweetheart, Sandra, you hear me? And you will hear of a woman doctor, okay? I got to let it out. You will hear of a woman doctor who has had many Caymanians come to her, and she has botched their eye surgeries, okay? There are a couple Caymanians that have gone blind, Sandra, from this doctor, okay? From a couple years ago. And they're fighting two systems that they can't get nothing out of them. And they come to find out the doctor been fired. So I beg you to go dig into that story for them. Please dig into it. And ask that pretty lady at the HSA, Miss Lizette Yearwood, who needs to be fired, resign, or I'm going to get the petition going soon to get her ass out of the HSA. And as I have said it, I don't care whether you like me, whether Cayman likes me, anybody Cayman Bright likes me anymore. I don't give a damn rat's ass. I got to live in this country.
Yes.
So I got to leave you there. But you didn't find out where that damn doctor is that screwed up these Caymanian patients' eyes with her botched surgeries. Leave it. I got to leave it there because I'm not done yet. I want to release Alden's letter that he sent to me a couple years ago. I'm going to soon come for him next.
Lord have mercy. Thank you, my dear.
It's a whole mess. And
I appreciate
when your
it.
life gets thrown out of why? Your depression gets worse. You don't want to come outside to see the sun. You don't even want to eat, okay? All of these things affect you. And I'm a Caymanian. I don't bother nobody, Sandra. I keep to myself. I try to exercise daily and keep my stress at a level where I don't have to bother people unless it bothers me. And right now I'm being bothered, and it gotta stop. It really, honey child, gotta stop.
All right.
I thank you for giving people platforms, and I know I talk a lot, Sandra, but there's more. It isn't just about me here right today, Sandra. You hear me? It is about those persons living with the same virus called HIV and can't get the help they need in this country. And what about the other persons who might not be as adherent to me on the antiretrovirals.
Right.
The HIV virus could be spread by them, and then the person infected. Who do you sue? The HSA, the government, the person. Who do you come after? This is a public health emergency right now, and the HSA and the government and the health minister needs to address it directly with a press briefing and address every HIV person affected in Cayman, living with it, Caymanian or foreigner, because they are the institution, the HSA, is the ones that dispense the medicine to Caymanians and foreigners here living with HIV, okay? Because there are plenty of foreigners living here with HIV. Have a good day, Ms.
Leave me,
Sandra.
okay,
And
leave me
please
there.
Be careful on the road, and don't push Gigi too hard about the sports. You hear? just go in easy with her, because she will figure out what she wants to do.
Thank
and
you.
You know what? I say this to you. I remember you when you weren't married, and I still remember you now that you're married. And you know what? The same person that was there still is. But it's good to see that you are instilling the values into your daughter's life that should be instilled into them, and taught and teaching and continue to teach her with you and your husband what Cayman is and who we are and where we come from, because we have to carry on what we are, because as you can see, the world around us here in Cayman, especially Grand Cayman, changes every day. So continue to do what you do. You give voices, you and Miss Sabrina, to those who will speak up. Even though I might be criticized after today, I am going to speak. I will put me in the bottom chair, because these things have to change, and they got to change to make the persons living with HIV lives in this country better than what we have to deal with today. And I thank you for listening. God bless you and your family and Cayman Island, and keep continuing to do the job you do, because I don't care what nobody say. I would rather hear it from a Caymanian talk show host than from somebody else. Okay? God bless you, Sandra.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
All righty. All right, folks. We're going to go ahead and end the program on that note. There's a lot to obviously unpack there from what that caller has said. It's really unfortunate, you know. Ah, boy. But there is a lot to unpack there. So I will endeavor to reach out to the health ministry, because I think that we have some questions that need to be answered in relation to that. I mean, it doesn't have to just be an HIV diagnosis. It could be any diagnosis. There are questions there about, once again, we were talking about this last week, you know, your information at government hospital not feeling that it's safe. I know this is a small island and people talk and whatever, but I mean, come on, right? All right, let's leave it there. You know, we've discussed quite a bit today. Sorry, not going to take any more calls for the day, but we have discussed quite a bit, and I hope that the situation at the Port Authority can be at least one that can be addressed. I think that the people deserve some answers. These boards don't seem to answer to anybody, which I think is unfortunate, right? They're appointed by ministers, but then who do they answer to? Do they answer to those same ministers? I mean, I have a lot of questions about how exactly that works even, because I kind of don't think so. But anyway, stay tuned. Tomorrow's show, we'll get to the interview that we just did yesterday with the Department of Agriculture on the spiraling whitefly. This is a very important discussion, because apparently I had no idea that this whitefly was so prolific. So tune in early. We'll kick off that conversation early in this program. And I think we also have someone from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture who is going to be coming onto the program in relation to the free summer camps that are available. So kids now are starting to get out of school between today and this week and next week. I think some are getting out next week. I don't know when government lets out, but over the coming weeks now, Kids need a safe place that they can be around people who've done the safeguard training, who can be trusted to not harm your children, who can provide them with good, wholesome activities during the summer months. Not everyone can afford the summer camps because they can get very, very expensive. So the government, and I think the ministry in particular, has done an amazing job to offer a lot of free camps, a lot of camps that are going to get them outdoors, going to have safe spaces, going to get them involved in arts and crafts and Cayman culture. And even they have like a drumming camp, which I thought was pretty cool. So there's a whole list of camps that are on for the summer that the Department of Sports is putting on. So they will be joining us to discuss some of those camps for the first part of the show. And then we'll go in talking about the spiraling whitefly and spiraling whitefly. And then, so that should be tomorrow's show. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Please tune in tomorrow morning at 7:30. Have a safe day, especially on the roadways. Please look out for both yourself and other drivers and pedestrians. And we'll speak with you tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.